personally, no. I don't think I've ever had a bad experience, but the potential, it's so risky.
It can,
that if it ends up in tears, I have to see this individual every day.
Every day,
right?
Exactly.
And I don't think I'm a very soft person, so I don't think I can handle it.
99 FM, Casper and your vest with that beautiful song, Summer Love, featuring Ray. We are talking about love, actually. Now, it is the month of love, and we are tackling all things romance related on the MYD Heart Show today. So, we are talking to an HR specialist about the often controversial issue of office romance, dating your colleagues in the office. Now, a study quoted on engagehr.com states that 40% of employees admitted to have had office romances before. So while managers may frown on it, employees are very likely to date their colleagues either way. Now, Agnes, who is joining us in studio, is an HR specialist from Windhoek, and she's here to explain how to navigate romantic relationships in the workplace. Good afternoon, Agnes, and thank you so much for joining us here at 99 FM. How are you?
I'm doing well, Treza. Thank you so much for having me, and good afternoon to all your listeners.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, we have to discuss these things. I think it's a really important discussion, one that I've actually never really thought of, dating people. Yeah. So, yes. So the thought has, crossed my mind. When you like someone in the office, you're like, should I or should I not? Exactly. So we're having that discussion right now. Agnes, please tell us some of the general HR principles around dating in the office romance.
So office romance, opens its own set of risks, if I can put it, unique risks in the office. And in some organizations, they're very strict.
Yeah.
And some are not.
Yeah, exactly.
In some, depending on how regulated or how big or how small, private, whether it's public, whatever it is, depends on what they will do.
Yeah.
Now, the issue with office romance is how blurry the lines can be when you go into sexual harassment. So usually some corporations will leave it and let everybody do what they want to do until such a time when someone says, no, I've been sexually harassed, and then they'll do something about it. Whereas in some corporations, which I prefer, they really do set out and say, this is our policy, this is our guideline, and this is how things will be if anyone chooses to, have some office romance. One thing that should also be really considered is the different levels. So say, for instance, you have a CEO dating a PA, for instance, or you have a financial CFO dating maybe somebody who is in the admin space. So those different levels, I call them unequal relationships. It poses a lot of problems, a lot of problems, and I never would advocate or even support such a relationship at all in the office. Then you also have for me, unethical relationships. So basically you have an individual who is maybe in finance, let's say finance, and then you have someone in HR. So they are dating, they're probably on the same level, but they have the potential of actually defrauding the company because of where they sit.
Yes.
Someone can influence this, okay, fine, pay me more, create a ghost account, and do all of so
favoritism.
Exactly. Yeah. So that can happen. And then within the same department, if say, for instance, I'm dating my colleague, we're on the same level, same department as well, it could be seen as I am giving favors to my colleagues simply because we're
in a relationship.
So all these things need to be considered when as an employer and as an employee as well. And one thing that for me, as a general rule, since I started working, I don't do office romance.
Yeah. Have you had a bad experience, or was it just from the bat that you decided you don't want to do office romance, or was it because you had a bad experience with it?
No. Personally, no. I don't think I've ever had a bad experience, but the potential, it's so risky.
It can,
that if it ends up in tears, I have to see this individual every day.
Every day,
right?
Exactly.
And I don't think I'm a very soft person, so I don't think I can handle it. So personally, I've told myself if I'm going to date, it has to be outside the organization because I can't handle seeing this individual
every single day.
If we break up, I'll be bitter and angry, and then they probably start seeing someone else. Imagine me with a knife, in the office.
Agnes is choosing violence.
I'll wake up and I'm like, hey,
choose violence on that day.
No. And in my experience as an HR practitioner, I've had incidences whereby the romance went sour. And oftentimes, one party then cries foul. Says, I was sexually harassed. And then they put in
these things can happen. Yeah.
It happens. So For me, I'd say, okay, fine, do it. But if you're going to do it, let the organization be very big. So I'm talking about maybe Old Haven, this kind of big, where you have over 3,000 employees, and then one is maybe sitting in Okahanya and the other one is sitting somewhere else.
In that instance,
then go ahead and do it. And you're in different also departments, because then everybody's in your business. If you come to work, uppity, everybody's going to be asking, oh, she didn't get some, or oh, they fought, or something happened. Everybody now, your relationship basically is there for the public to look
Exactly.
at.
It's also really,
Yes, these are all the things you need to consider just before you decide to jump into
Agnes, it brings me to my next question. I think this is also a very important one. What guides the type of clauses that companies put in their policies on office related? What is the ultimate, criteria for office romances in terms of the guidelines?
So number one, ethics. The relationship needs to be ethical. We need to look at who is in the power control here.
Yes.
So that's very, very important. Then we also need to look at the risk aspect. How is this relationship going to be managed from the employer side should this relationship fail? Or even if it's a very good relationship, have you noticed how when we have butterflies and we're really excited, we lose sight of what's important?
Dude, we lose focus. We lose focus, yeah.
So you want to ask yourself, is this person going to be able to be productive? Are they going to be able to focus while this individual is having this romance? So we need to look at, for me, what's important when we sit down and talk about guidelines. Is the relationship in the same department? At which level? And is it ethical? And what are the risks that we need to look at when we're setting out our policy? Because we also always have to safeguard what I call individuals that are in an unequal relationship. So if I'm at the losing end of the relationship, how are you going to protect me? Because it could be that I'm being preyed upon. It could be that my manager, because they're in a more powerful and senior position, they're actually forcing me to be in a relationship with them. How do I protect that individual who doesn't per se have a voice? So all these things need to be really considered when...
Definitely. I think you actually already answered this question, some of the dangers of dating a colleague, but are there any other dangers apart from, a possibility of a sexual harassment claim? Are there any other dangers involved with dating a colleague in the office?
So imagine things with me, Treza. You probably had one ex or two.
Yes,
right?
My dear.
And the relationship has gone south. So for me, a danger is stalking.
Yes.
Unwanted attention, which could all lead to sexual harassment. And then obviously the idea of going into the office and seeing an individual, like I said earlier on, the relationship is no more there. Your colleagues all knew about it, and everybody's in your business. Like, your relationship is out there for everyone to talk about, to probe, to discuss. So these are for me, the dangers. And plus, when you date someone in the office, depending on the level of the relationship, you could potentially lose trust in your other colleagues as well.
Yeah.
Because now your judgment is they always filter you through the relationship. Did she make or did he make this decision because of this person? Did he do this simply because of
this person? Yes.
So your credibility can also potentially be,
questioned.
Questioned as a result of the relationship. So these are the things one needs to consider when in a relationship.
I think also another danger is also, let's say things go sideways. We're together and then boom, something pops off. And now, because we're no longer together, I can, block things for you. I can say, don't give this job to this person because.
If I'm in a higher level,
exactly.
I am in spaces where you are not, you do not have access to. So I have a voice on tables that you probably don't.
Exactly.
And if I'm bitter about the relationship, I can definitely do that. I can block you in spaces and do stuff like that. So these are, for me, stuff that you really need to consider before dating someone in the office, no matter how cute, beautiful,
yes, guys.
Office romance has been my number one thing. Don't do it.
Yeah.
But you're human.
Next person is human. Exactly. Feelings develop.
Exactly. So they are allowed their own choices, but please just be mindful when you're doing it.
If you're just tuning in right now, we're joined in studio by Agnes, who is an HR practitioner. We're talking about office romance, a very interesting discussion, and we're going to continue with the discussion right after Bruno Mars. That's what I like. That's what I like. It is Bruno Mars with Lucky For You. That's what I like here on your number one inspiration station. If you are just tuning in right now, we are still busy with MYD Heart, joined in studio by Agnes, who is an HR practitioner, and we're discussing office romance, the dangers of office romances, and just, being careful when you start developing feelings for your colleague, like Siba would always say. So, Agnes, can you tell us, some of, what me as an employee, what should I consider when it comes to romantic relationships in the office? What should I be looking out for if I am considering going into a romantic relationship with a colleague?
First of all, breathe. That's number one. And always, with any decision, and this has nothing to do, okay, maybe it does, but with every decision that one makes, I feel you should always think about how it's going to affect you 3 months down the line, 6 months down the line, perhaps even 18 months and further. So as an employee, just consider that first of all. And I know that love is a beautiful thing.
It is.
And when you're infatuated, it's so exciting. It's like you're floating and you're
those
walking
butterflies,
you're on cloud number 9. And everything looks so peachy and beautiful. So even though it's so difficult to really imagine what this relationship could mean to you down the line, it's so important that you look at it and say, okay, fine, this is how it's going to be. So do that first, and then do your research. Find out if the company allows it. What is the policy, or what is the company's stand when it comes to romantic relationships? How am I protected? Should this relationship, end
go sideways? Yeah.
So what is that? And then how is it going to affect your team dynamic? Especially if, say, for instance, the romance is within the same team, it's the same level of job, how is that going to affect everything? And then if it's at different levels also, it's important to see not only the office romance policy, but also the ethics of the company, just to see whether or not you're going to transgress, and then make up your mind from there. And obviously also consult your girlfriends, your guy friends, just see whether or not, is this relationship really worth it? Is it worth my credibility at the office, my reputation at the office, everything? Because believe you me, we are all watching.
Everyone is watching.
Everybody's going to be talking
exactly.
about it. So.
Nobody wants that. You guys have a fight, and the whole office knows on Monday that Treza and her boyfriend just had a fight. You know what I mean? So there is all of those risk factors involved. But like you said, love is love, and love is a beautiful thing. It's all about just going about it the right way. So Agnes, any advice to anyone who is already in the process of starting a romantic relationship with their colleague? How can they make sure that it doesn't, like you say, end in tears?
So first of all, set boundaries. Have a very, very honest discussion with this individual. I know that love is sweet, and at the beginning it's all infatuation, it's all exciting, but sit down and really think about this relationship. What we want from the relationship, how do we see this relationship developing and going forward? And then set those boundaries. Decide as a couple what it is you're going to allow within the office space, what you're not going to take to the office from the bedroom, if I can put it that way. Because we don't want to see your fighting and your excitement and your PDA at the office, because then it reinforces the idea that you guys are going to favorite each other.
Exactly.
So we don't want to see that. So set those clear boundaries, discuss exactly what it is you want for the relationship, set objectives and goals for the relationship, and most importantly, discuss what you're going to do should the relationship not work.
Also, I think the advice that you gave, do not get into a relationship at the office. Do not get.
But hey, it's like I said,
it happens. It happens.
But it's so important if you discuss what you're not going to do and what you're going to do if the relationship goes sideways.
Exactly.
I think it's so important. You can decide that, listen, if this relationship, ends up in tears, let's be mature about it and decide this, and that, and not be,
also when we're at work is work. At work, we do not do lovey-dovey PDA.
No, we don't do PDA.
Office things, it's office things. Please, let's keep the.
And when we fight at home, let's not bring it here.
Let's not bring it to the office.
Home, let's not take the office
exactly.
with us as well.
Yeah.
So, because sometimes, we have the potential of saying, for instance, so at the office, when you said that, what exactly did you mean? Let's not take that home.
Exactly.
Let's keep it in the office.
It's crazy.
Let's keep it in the office. And if it happens at home, let's also bring it to the office. So let's put those clear boundaries in place, and really, because I think such a relationship really requires mature people to have. Otherwise, you're opening a conundrum of problems.
Problems.
No one needs that because work is already stressful.
Very stressful.
I don't need to add that to my...
It can still be here with my partner here. We're already seeing each other every day at home. Now we must come at work as well.
Exactly.
So no, it is very dangerous. I think this is a really important discussion to have. So thank you so much, Agnes, for coming through and sharing with us, office romances and relationships. Thank you so much for coming to share with us. And we really appreciate you making time out to come chat with us. It was also really nice to meet you. And yeah, I now I know not to get crushes for anybody in this office, guys. But I already have my eye on somebody.
Nah?
I already have my eye on somebody.
But decide to jump into that relationship when you're almost out the door with your next opportunity.
Next opportunity, I agree. Agnes, thank you so much. You're welcome. Agnes, HR practitioner in the studio, talking about office romances. If you are in an office relationship, a romantic relationship in the office, a couple of things you should consider. So if you missed out on this interview, you can always check it out on the 99 FM app. And that was MYD Heart.
MYD Heart was proudly brought to you by NHP. NHP, we are about you.